Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another impressive episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the triple dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He is Rob Bass, and you are not. In the second quarter, we have the Monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she is not co-hosting Ringside Society, she's on crazy misadventures, such as shopping for DeLoreans, going back to 1885 for freshly churned butter, and picking fights with random strangers while dressed up as one of the Road Warriors. And she is the destroyer of dinner, Louisiana's own Kathy Knight. And the third quarter, we have that ocean crossing, straight up busting, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana, now they love him in Japan. No cap, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a lady who wears many hats. That's right, not just the hat that Rob is wearing, not your father's hat, not your grandfather's hat. No, many hats. She's an event host. She's a ring announcer. She's a commentator. She's an interviewer. She is Louisiana's first female promoter. Everybody, welcome to the show, Elev8 Pro owner, Brittani Nikole.
Woo! Yeah, that was awesome. That was great. The best thing is when you were doing Kathy's intro, I was like, is he also talking about me? Because I feel like we're kindred spirits.
Right?
Yeah, Kathy. Kathy's. Of course, she's from Louisiana, and yeah, she does cause us a lot of grief. Puts us in a lot of expense. She still owes Saraya Knight a rump roast for having her on a three-hour interview. So. Yeah, Saraya, if anybody owes you dinner, it's Kathy over there, not me. I'm still eating hamburger helper. So, yeah.
Perfect.
But before I go any further, our other mod, our Twitch mod, we'd like to give a shout out to from the west side, the best side, Alicia, the Warrior Princess. Alicia, we see you. Thank you for modding for us. We really and truly appreciate you. And to those of you, and Alicia's mom, I guess we can call her the Warrior Queen, has actually joined us, and so has the Red Queen. Wow, a lot of royalty in here. Oh, geez. I don't think I'm dressed for the occasion.
Yeah, but, no, I'm underdressed.
Yeah. Well, Brittany, I gotta say, thank you for actually taking time out of your busy schedule to be. Kathy's been very excited. Every time she hears somebody from Louisiana, she has to be on the show. She loses her mind. You should have seen her when we had Minotaur on here. It was something else. I can only imagine what would happen if I actually get Tara and Terrell on this show. Oh, geez, I wouldn't hear the end of it.
She's wonderful. I love her. She is so great, and I'm hoping to get her on an Elev8 show soon as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That'll be something. Yeah, you might want to watch out for Kathy. She'll probably go crazy and yeah. But it's all good though. I mean, that just goes to show the hometown love. Rob does it too in Delaware. I do it, whenever I'm in New York. So, it is what it is. But man, I gotta say, Brittany, you are a very impressive young lady. I'm like, wow, I'm like all these things you do, like. And I actually had the pleasure of seeing you live in person back at GCW, the one they had in December in Tampa, where Queen Aminata actually won the GCW World title or the GCW Women's title. And man, you were great on on pretty much like the commentary and everything.
Thank
and I'm
you.
Like, you are a very talented woman, and it would not surprise me if All Elite or WWE were to snatch you up. It would not surprise me. I'd be very happy for you.
I mean, my phone's open, so
Tony, Vince, if y'all see this, trust me, go ahead. She's free. But Brittany, I gotta ask you. So you're originally from Ohio, right?
Yes, I'm from a little farm kind of farm area in Ohio near Cleveland, so northern Ohio. A little place called Norwalk, which is, I guess, the closest thing that people know is Cedar Point, which is like a roller coaster amusement park in Sandusky, and that's the closest thing to where I grew up.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I've only been to Ohio like twice in my life. It was Cincinnati. Yeah, I got to go back one day I was supposed to go to Cleveland last year, but the pandemic happened. So yeah, maybe another time. Mm-hmm. But so I gotta ask, what was and I ask everybody, pretty much everybody this, what was the event or the show or the pay-per-view that got you into like professional wrestling, like that made you become a fan?
Oh, I grew up on pro wrestling. I watched, obviously, the mainstream, so I watched WWE and WCW as a kid. My parents watched wrestling when they were teens and young adults, and then into by the time I was born, when they were in their 30s. But they had watched like big time wrestling and stuff like that back in the day. And I grew up on WWE. I grew up on WCW. I grew up on ECW. So I loved wrestling from the get-go. And I always thought that I was going to become a wrestler. I was like, I'm going to turn 19. I'm going to move to where WWE is, because obviously I didn't know at that time. And I was like, and I'm going to be a wrestler. And when I turned 19, I was like, I'm going to move to New Orleans. And I was like, that's close enough. That's close enough to Florida.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, from the get go, like I grew up watching it with my cousins. I had all boy cousins. I grew up watching it with them, and we used to wrestle on the trampoline, obviously, like you do as kids, and choke slam each other off the trampoline, because somehow we're still alive. And so yeah, it was always a love for it. So I can't pinpoint an exact part, because I just remember it always being on in my house.
Oh, cool. Wow. WWE, WCW, ECW, you lived a pretty good life. Those were like the big three of the 90s. And yeah, ECW was just something else. I still couldn't believe it. But yeah, wrestling back then, it was definitely something.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of so who are some of your favorites you enjoyed like growing up? Like who do you enjoy like watching and cheering for and all that?
Well, I loved when I was younger, I loved Stone Cold, obviously, The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, the same. Chris Jericho was also a huge one. But I also, as I got older, I started watching some of the old like tapes and stuff my parents had. So I became a huge fan of Dusty Rhodes, and really, really love Dusty Rhodes, and still to this day, like he is one of my icons. And he definitely, I've learned a lot from him just by his books and reading things that he has written about the psychology of the business. And so that was a big person in my life that I was like, oh, this is somebody. But yeah, I mean, the women of the 90s of the Attitude Era, obviously it was Trish Stratus and Lita were definitely plowing the way. But I loved Chyna. I really enjoyed seeing, honestly, any like Jazz and Jacqueline, and like there was so many good women's wrestlers that now we look back and we're like, oh wow, they were really good. They did their thing, even if it was, them getting stuck in silly matches, because back then there was a lot of, as much as people idolized the Attitude Era, there was a lot of bad stuff in the Attitude Era. it was just one of those things. Like Melina, she was always fantastic to me. And it's so great now I get to work with her, and we've become really good friends. And so it's really, and Jazz too. Like it's strange watching these people on television as a child and a young person, and then working with them and being friends with them. Like I can call either one of them right now and talk to them, and I can hang out with them, and I learn from them, and it's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah. You mentioned Jazz. I was telling we had a guest on here the other day, Hyena Hera, and Rob was on here with me, and we were like, Jazz looks so mean. Like, when she goes to the ring, she about to whoop her opponent, man. Oh, jeez.
Dude, that's Jazz. Yeah. Look, that face is, you see that face sometimes just in the back in the locker room, and you're like, you okay, Jazz? You good? She's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Jazz and Rodney too. Rodney's another one. I'm like, hey, look, I'll buy whatever shirt y'all have. Y'all just don't whoop my ass, man. Please.
Rodney's my brother for sure. He's my big brother. He is so amazing, and it's, Jazz and Rodney are both also from Louisiana, and we get to talk a lot about that because they ran two separate times. They ran wrestling schools and wrestling shows in Louisiana, and dealing with the politics and the craziness of Louisiana, they found it best to move to Texas, and they flourished so much better. And so, I mean, that was one of the many reasons I jumped to Texas as well, was to flourish, not only myself, but also, elevate and continue to run in Louisiana, but still also pull more resources from Texas to help Louisiana companies grow.
Yeah, that's a great thing. That's definitely a great thing as well. Hopefully you keep doing that, and then Kathy won't have no choice but to stay in Louisiana, because Kathy travels all the way to Kathy travels all the way 5 hours to Houston.
I literally saw her last week, okay? Like,
yeah. At the Diamonds Are Forever show.
Exactly. We were literally both at Reality of Wrestling. I did solo commentary Reality of Wrestling for Diamonds Are Forever. That was amazing and terrifying, but amazing.
Yeah. So speaking of wrestling, how'd you get it? How'd you get into? I know I saw you twice live twice actually. It was at the GCW show, and it was 5 years before that, 2015. Actually, summer of 2015 in San Diego. That's when you were with Wildcat. You were with I forgot her name. She's a former, because I'm in the Navy right now, and she was in the Navy. Della, I forgot her last name was Della.
Della? I love Della. Della is wonderful. Oh God, I can't remember her last name either, because she changed it. It was changed, and I can't remember if it was marriage or divorce, but one of those.
Yeah, she's Bordell. It may have been Walker, because I know she was married to Bordell Walker.
She was married to Vordell, and I think it was Della. But it was something different then, because she wasn't married to Vordell yet back then. But that, honestly, you seeing me at that show, that was my very first solo announcing show ever, was San Diego. Oh, wow. That was my very first solo, because before that I was co-hosting with another guy named Brett Ian Landry. He was looking to take more of a manager role, and wanted to step away from ring announcing. So basically Wildcat, the owner, Luke Hawks, told him to find his replacement. And I was doing a photo shoot with a guy named Scott, and Scott so happened to work at the Apple store that Brett worked at. And I mentioned I wanted to get into wrestling, and he went, hey, I know a guy. And contacted Brett, and Brett contacted me, and then they all asked me, like, hey, have you done this before? And I said, yeah. I hadn't. I lied. So if you're asking me how I got into the business, I lied my way in. I don't suggest it, but that's how that happened. And they were like, okay, well, you've done announcing before, but we're going to train you how we want it done. And I was like, oh, thank God. But they didn't. Sorry, my dogs are barking. And they basically threw me to the wolves. I basically had to learn. I taught myself how to ring announce. I taught myself how to do interviews, and I taught myself how to do commentary. And so, yeah, that San Diego show, we drove 27 hours from New Orleans to San Diego in two 16-seat passenger vans. We rented these passenger vans, and it was, I think, 12 or 13 of us, and we split the vans, and we drove 27 hours straight. Vordell Walker actually drove our van the entire way straight. He didn't switch off. He didn't stop. Like, he drove us 27 hours from New Orleans to San Diego.
Well, I'm glad I actually attended that show, because I would have felt bad if I'd canceled the last minute, and then I heard this. I'm like, oh man, I feel a jerk. I didn't go to the show. But I'm glad. It was a very enjoyable show too. I mean, you guys had like a mixture of the old and the new. You had Chavo Guerrero there. You had Beastie 666, but at the same time, you had up and comers like Katie Forbes, who was relatively new to the business.
Oh, yeah, me and Katie started at the same time. Katie started training in wrestling when I started training in my ring announcing. So me and her came up together.
Yeah.
And Chavo actually was the one who helps. Chavo and Brian Kendrick, who was also there, were the two that helped teach me how to ring announce for that first show and like calm my nerves a bit. Because if I don't know if you remember, but I vividly remember the music didn't work for like half the time, because the something technical, like obviously technical issues, the music cut out. So like I got people to like do the whole Queen like stomp stomp clap because there was no music, and I didn't know what to do. And it was Shane Taylor and Ray Horace that were coming out, and I'm like, so yeah, no, that was a memorable night for sure. Lots of stress, but I'm very happy that I broke in that way, because now I'm self-made, but I've also learned from a lot of really talented veterans. You know, I've taken lots of seminars, wrestling seminars. I go to them and I sit and I take notes and I watch the people work in the ring, because I don't work, but you know, I've learned a lot from a lot of great people.
Yeah. And not only are you self-made, you're also an inspiration, because somewhere, I'm pretty sure, some young woman in Louisiana is saying, you know something, I want to do like Brittani Nikole. I want to, you know, have my own promotion and, you know, run things my way in this male-dominated industry. So you pretty much, I'm not saying you may have, I know for a fact you've actually inspired somebody. Somebody's watching you probably right now. Not Kathy. You know, Kathy's you know, she's pretty much, you know, her goal was to run this and run it her way, and so whatever she says goes. So I can't really mess with her.
Good,
you know, I tried to fire her a couple of times. She gives me the middle finger and threatens me with violence. I asked Rob to help me out. Rob is like, no, I'm not getting in that. So I'm like, okay, Kathy, do whatever, you know. But yeah, but so now you know you're in the business now. You're doing your ring announcing thing. You got over the jitters. How did Elev8 Pro, like? So Mott told us how it happened, but we want your side, like from a female's perspective, like how was it, you know, getting the handover and actually becoming the first female promoter in Louisiana? What was running through your mind? You know, what were your feelings? You know, tell us what was up.
So I don't know what's the word? How sugar-coated Mott have put it, because of the turmoil that happened with the original owner, Alex Cruz. But I don't sugarcoat it because he's not around anymore. So basically, Alex ran the company into the ground, took all the money, and was going to sell it to whoever because he needed the cash and he just wanted to be done. That's the long story short. There was no money in the company. Mott, myself, and Benjamin Wood, and even Minotaur. A lot of us were using our own funds to pay for flyers, to pay for tickets, to pay for promotion, just so that there would be people packed into a show, into the shows, and we were tired of it. And so when the big 3-year anniversary show rolled around, it was going to be in the Civic Center, which is where Cowboy Bill Watts used to run Mid-South back in the day. We had gotten it. It was a bought show by the St. Bernard Parish government, because the St. Bernard Parish president used to go to Mid-South back in the day when he was a kid. And he was like, I want to start bringing more entertainment back to Chalmette. It's right outside of New Orleans. It's like 5 minutes over the bridge, but there's nothing over there. You know, it's a town. It's just a little place. It's not New Orleans, you know, where the tourists go. No tourists are going to Chalmette. So this big anniversary show was happening. Well, on top of that, Alex was trying to sell the company. And none of us knew except for Mott. And when Mott found out, Mott was like, I want to buy it, but he couldn't because Alex was asking for a certain amount of money. And he's like, I don't, but Alex also was, because he hated how much I drilled him and grilled him about where the money had gone. Why isn't there money in the business account? Why isn't there this? Why isn't there that? To the point where he was like, I'd never sell it to you. So Mott bought the company with funds that I had given, and then signed it over to me once we got it notarized and stuff, the day of the show. So the day of the anniversary show, Mott and I became owners of the company, and didn't tell anybody. We waited for the ink to, we had the notary show up at the show, and we did all the business at the show. And so at that show, I became the first female promoter in the history of Louisiana. And I didn't know that yet because I still had to go through the whole debacle with the commission. And a commission in Louisiana is where you have to get a surety bond, you have to get insurance, you have to show financially that you have to give them a financial report, show them financially that you can run a show and pay for a show, regardless of if you have a house or not. And then they vote. It's a committee of 10 dudes in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And they vote on whether or not they think you're capable to be a promoter. And then you pay them your licensing fee, and then if they say yes, and then they give you a license for the year, and yada, yada, yada. So I had to do all that as well. And when I did that, that's when it officially became the whole like, oh yeah, well, you're the first woman to do this. Hello, young lady, you know. And it's because one of those things of, I became the first promoter to have a promoter's license. You know, Jazz and Rodney ran shows here, but everything was under Rodney. You know, and everything was under that kind of thing. So it wasn't a female promoter in jazz. It was until I came along. So that was fun and terrifying. But yeah, that's how it went. So I'm very interested to know. I didn't listen to Mott's thing, but I'm sure he maybe made it sound a little bit nicer. But I'm more of the rough edge of the group.
Yeah, well, Deb, thank you for giving us, I guess you could call it the R-rated version of how Elev8 Pro came to be. And actually, thank you for actually saving Elev8 Pro. I mean, I've never set foot in Louisiana. Hopefully, one day I will. Kathy actually owes me a po' boy, but when I do, hopefully I could definitely check out an Elev8 Pro show. One thing as a wrestling fan I do like to see is promotions go down, because that's less place for people to get work and, you know, hone their craft and, you know, for people to see what they can do. So I'm very glad that you actually, you know, saved it and whatnot. And on top of that, you're also, you're not just, you don't just run Elev8 Pro. You're also like, oh, I mean, you were in California. I saw you in Florida. Next thing you know, I saw you in Parlay Pro. And then I saw you in reality wrestling. Like, you're like all over the place. So where else have you announced or have done commentary?
So my main gig is, so I do obviously Elev8 Pro is my baby. Elev8 Pro will always take priority over anything and everything. I actually had to pull out of a couple people who wanted to book me for July 24th coming up, because July 24th is my next Elev8 Pro show in Chalmette, and I've got to be there. Like that's my baby. So Elev8 Pro always takes precedent. But other than that, I am lead female commentator for Mission Pro Wrestling down in Austin and Houston area. They're actually moving to Houston now, but they were in Buda, right outside of Austin. But Mission Pro Wrestling, which is Thunder Rosa's company, another all-female. It is an all-female owned promotion, and it is Thunder Rosa as the owner, and then it's a whole female run. So all the wrestlers are female, commentary, videographers, photographers, bookers, promoter, everything, referees. It's all female based, and it's the first one in existence that has all females on that. Then I'm also lead female commentator and call the commentary for the female matches and do the backstage interviews and media correspondence for SWE Fury, which also, if you're in Texas for July 24th instead of Louisiana, if you're in Texas, in Lubbock, Texas, SWE Fury is going to be having a show on July 24th in Lubbock, Texas. So there's still tickets on sale. I know like VIPs and stuff I do believe are sold out, but there's still tickets on sale if you want to go online to swefury.com. Sorry, I'm going to get everyone's plugs in as well. And then I did commentary. Then I do commentary for, I did commentary for Reality of Wrestling for Diamonds Are Forever. And I'm hoping to come back and join them more for commentary for their future shows. Then commentary and ring announcing for Pele Pro. And then ring announcing for Texoma Pro and Red River Wrestling, which are in Sherman, Texas. And then I've done some commentary. I commentated Jazz's match for DFW. Which is Lou Gotti's promotion, one of Lou Gotti's promotions in Texas. And then I've done commentary for GCW, and lots of things.
Wow, you're definitely a busy woman. And that's great. That means the fact that so many people actually request your services. That will show that you're definitely doing something right. I mean, even to the point where you gotta be like, nah, I can't do this. I got Elev8 Pro this weekend. Get me some other time. That's very impressive too. By the way, since if you ever need a female videographer, Kathy over here, I mean, she does video stuff too. I'm trying to pawn her off.
You need to get in touch with Melanie. Melanie, she runs everything. She's amazing for Mission Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
I'm gonna have to stop. I always do that to Kathy. I always tell people, if you need a videographer, Kathy, because Rob is actually gonna be a referee. He's about to be a referee in August. So I'm like, why not try to get Kathy out of here too?
He's trying to get rid of it.
Look, here's the thing: is that Nigel Rabbit, my fiance, he does that all the time. He's always like, "Oh, do you need a commentator? Do you need an announcer?" More importantly, he asks announcer. Now, I will say, my love. I started off obviously as a backstage interviewer, and then I became an announcer, and rather quickly, and did my first show there in California, solo, and then I would say probably a year and a half ago is when I first started doing commentary. And now it is mostly my job is commentary. And I more want to do commentary stuff. So when people hire me to do announcing and everything, I do it. But my love is commentary. So if you ever have commentary gigs, I'm there for it. But I'll do announcing too. But I'm really trying to do more commentary, and Nigel keeps trying to push me into announcing more, and I'm like, stop it! I want to do commentary. I don't want to announce on this show. I want to do commentary.
Oh, that's good. So now I don't feel so bad then when I do that to Kathy.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. So so in terms of like so the commentating and Elev8 Pro and everything, where do you see yourself in 5 years in regards to Elev8 Pro and commentating and ring announcing and all that good stuff?
5 years. I hope that I hope that Elev8 is going to be expanding and growing more in the Gulf South. And I hope that the reason is because I am signed to a larger company, or I'm working more independent companies to where I can make it a full-time thing and not have a day job. Luckily my day job is flexible. I am a social media marketer for a dental company. So I get to just post pictures of teeth all day. But it's really, really fun. And it's more flexible because I can go into the office and work, or I can stay home, or I can take days off and travel and do shows and all of that kind of stuff. But not having a day job and just doing wrestling all the time, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely would. And I really and truly hope that you actually get to that point and that you actually get to expand Elev8 Pro. And hopefully if I'm in North Carolina right now, if they happen to expand over here in North Carolina, I get to check out a show, because you guys have you guys have the Russell twins, Dale Springs, Amber Rodriguez, who's like one of my favorites, Amaris Blair, and all of them. And I'm like, I gotta see this show, man. Like I gotta head over to Louisiana one of these days and see what it's all about. Because I'm very impressed by Wildcat, not Wildcat, sorry, Elev8 Pro, and also Wildcat too. I don't know if
I will not take anything away from Wildcat. They gave me my start. They created me in that way, and I won't give that away to. I won't take that away from them. I just choose not to work with them. And now I'm their direct competition. But it's one of those things that I always think that more wrestling promotions means more working together, more fans, more fan base. I always want promotions to work together. I hate this is something I say for the Southerners, is that the South will not rise again and the territories are dead. So, calm down. Like, it ain't gonna happen. Territories are dead. So we all need to work together, because the more we work together, the more fan base we build, the more fans we all have in our seats. Luckily a lot of promoters I've started to, in Louisiana, the promoters, we've all kind of gotten together and started to share dates with each other of like when we're planning on running, so we don't run on top of each other, because honestly, the first front row is usually the first front row on every Louisiana wrestling show. You're going to see the same people. So our fans don't like the idea of having to choose between us. It's like when mom and dad fight, like they don't want to choose between us. So we all are trying to work together, some more than others. But I just want to run shows.
Yeah, because I was saying that there are three promotions that I want to check out, and that's Wildcat, and in no particular order, whichever one I see first, I'm going to. So it's Wildcat, Elev8 Pro, and then there's Pro Wrestling 225, which Kathy put me onto. And I'm like, you know what? I've seen their stuff. I like it. I want to check it out. I'm the kind of guy, if you tell me to choose between one promotion and another, I'll be like, I wouldn't do it, because I'm not team this or team that. I'm team wrestling. That's what I am.
Yep.
I grew up watching it all. and I'm still gonna watch it all. I don't have shares in any company, so there's nothing holding me back. So yeah, I don't even have shares in WWE. So yeah. So, and I'm a big wrestling fan, and yeah, so I'm just about the wrestling, you know. But so in terms, so I just have one more question before I turn it over to Kathy. I know Kathy's chomping at the bit to ask you a bunch of questions, and my question is, who for ring announcing, who would you say, if you could name 5 people, who would you say were your inspirations for ring announcing? And I'll even put a twist to it. It doesn't even have to be a wrestling ring announcer. It could be Michael Buffer from boxing.
It definitely
It could be
ain't. I
it
almost
could
said the
it
F
could
word.
be a wrestler.
It definitely ain't Michael Buffer. Everyone tries to sound like Michael Buffer, and it drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 people, right? Yes, 5 people. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would definitely say, obviously, Lillian Garcia. She's the OG of great people. Mike McGurk. You can't forget Mike. Mike, honestly, she was as much as people put in the kudos to Renee Young for being one of the women that, you know, paved the way for women to be on commentary more often now. But Mike McGurk was on commentary back in the day for WWE when it was WWF. But her as a ring announcer, fantastic. Melissa Santos from Lucha Underground. I love Melissa. Melissa is so great. She's always put a wonderful spin on how she, you know, fluctuated her announcing and her words and her pitch and tone. Like she's so great at that. Those are 3 people. You know, I mean, people are going to say like Howard Finkel or you know, but even that is something that I try to stay away from, because a lot of male ring announcers emulate Michael Buffer or Bruce Buffer, you know, or Howard Finkel, and it's like you got to find your own way to do it, because they've already done it, and then you just sound like an imitation. So I would say there's only 3 for me right now that I learned from and pull from, and that would be Melissa Santos, Mike McGurk, and Lillian Garcia. So I have 3. Sorry, not 5.
Wow. That's great. That's great. I thought you were gonna give me some like singers or some wrestlers, because yeah, I told somebody, I forgot who it was. Rob, I can't remember who was it that I told. I told him I use a little bit of Howard Finkel and Road Dogg when I do my little spiel there, and a little bit of Justin Roberts, and I just try to put it all together and just talk loud and whatnot. And I'm not a ring announcer. I just play around with that, you know. That's but
No,
anyways,
you do well though.
Thanks. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Kathy. I know Kathy's smiling from ear to ear, and she has a lot of questions for you. She's probably gonna ask you about beignets. But Kathy,
fire.
go ahead.
Let's go.
The floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Remy. Hey, Brittany, how you doing today?
I'm good. I've got my bang. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh yeah,
we've been,
Shaw Guerrero. Shaw is so wonderful. Sorry, I was reading that, that comment.
she is awesome. I saw it too. Yeah, Shaw, Justin Roberts, and Mike Rome. Yeah, that's what Alicia said.
Mike and awesome. Mike and Shaw. So I know Shaw and I know Mike. I don't know Justin, but I know I'm friends with Shaw and I'm friends with Mike, and both of them are fantastic. I try not to emulate them, obviously, because they're modern and they're still in the industry. So I'm not going to copy people who are also paving their way and still working. So I'm not going to emulate people that are still hustling in this business.
Yeah, because you're hustling too, you know, in your own right. So you got to put your little spin on it. Like a lot of people, you know, they do that thing. So you gotta put you on it.
Yeah.
So you were talking to Remy a little bit about you lived in Ohio and you moved to New Orleans, and you said it's a little bit closer. You know, it's closer to Florida. But what attracted you to New Orleans in the first place?
Oh, I saw it on TV when I was like 9. I saw it on the Travel Channel. And when I saw it on the Travel Channel, I was like, I'm going to move there. And my mom's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. And then when I turned 19, I packed up and moved. So, you know, I do what I say I'm going to.
There you go. So we can't be remiss without talking about food from New Orleans. So, like, what's your favorite dish? I mean, Remy mentioned beignets. You can't go wrong with beignets. But what's your like go-to food when you were in New Orleans?
My go-to food? I mean, my go-to food really is... Look, my go-to food in New Orleans is going to be from Fratty's. Shout out to Fratty's in the Bywater. And that's going to be a roast beef po' boy. That is my go-to.
Sounds good. Yeah. Love a roast beef po' boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you mentioned you were owner of Elev8 Pro, but you started announcing. You started announcing in Elev8 Pro before you became an owner. So, what drew you to Elev8 Pro in the first place?
You want to know the real answer?
Sure.
Sure. I quit Wildcat for lots of reasons, but I quit Wildcat because of the very abusive locker room, and so I was like, like I don't deal with that kind of stuff. So I left because of the very big negativity that was in the locker room, and I had nowhere else to go, and I was like, I wasn't traveling and stuff. And I stumbled on Elev8 because Elev8 actually was created by a group of wrestlers and a group of people who had also left Wildcat because of the locker room. And so it was basically like the Bad News Bears. It was a group of Mod Podge people who had left left Wildcat, and so yeah, I became their announcer for that. So yeah, that's the meat and potatoes of it.
So you moved. So you were at the show in California, the one Remy was at. That was your first show, and then you were in Wildcat before that, and then Elev8 Pro. That's how that happened.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Elev8 Pro didn't exist back then when I first started. Elev8 Pro is only 4 years, going on 5 years. It'll be 5 years in October. It's only 4 years old. So it wasn't created until I was 2 years into the business. So yeah, it was not around yet. So.
Yeah, because I saw you, I was at the Cecilia show in 2019, August 2019, where that was the Rock and Roll Express. They were at that show.
Yes.
And that was the first time I saw you, and you were still announcing then, and you were doing commentary. So
Yep.
Later on, that's when you became the owner, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, I was following you on social media and stuff like that, because I'd been to that show. So I was like, wow, she's like moving on up. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was funny when I became the owner. A lot of people thought it was like a work, like it was part of the show. Like I wasn't the actor. Like, are you like really the owner, or like is this like a storyline? I'm like, no, I'm like legit the owner.
It's hard to tell these days, like what's real and what's not. Like when people are injured wrestlers, okay, they're really injured, or like, oh, this is show injury. Like
Right.
there's a fine line in wrestling. Yeah, there's a fine line in wrestling right now. So it's hard. I can see why people would say that. Oh, she, is it part of the storyline? She's the owner. Like, no, she's really the owner.
Yeah. I try to keep it out of the storyline. I try to keep it out of storyline. Like that's Ben Wood is our CEO. Like I try to stay just the announcer at Elev8 shows. Like once the show starts, like I am not the boss. I'm the ring announcer. Like, that's how that works.
Yeah, at the show I went to, Ben was more involved. He had gotten the ring, and I think there was like a title on the line or something.
That was the debut of the. I think that was the debut of the Uprising Championship. That's when Dale. That's when Dale Springs won the Uprising title.
Okay.
Yeah, Dale's been still is our Uprising champion. So.
Yeah, he was a heel. Like Benjamin played the heel really well. Like he had us hating him.
He still is a heel.
There you go. So, you had gone to talking about New Orleans again. When SWE had something called Zest Fest. Justin Wilson. They had a Justin Wilson YouTube show.
Yes.
And Justin Wilson, of course, passed away like a few years ago, but he's a really big chef in Louisiana, like up there with Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do an interview. Like, how cool was that to do that?
That was so awesome. Like, and the thing is SWE, they had us come there to Zest Fest because me and Nigel, we live in Dallas, so we're really close to Irving, close to the Irving Convention Center, so it's very convenient for us to be there. So we were there for all 3 days, and Zest Fest was awesome. It was all spicy foods and spices, and like Nigel and Niles Planquet, one of the wrestlers for SWE Fury, were participants in the atomic wing eating contest.
Ooh.
And Niles got to the finals and won second place. He was, and so it was very impressive. Me and Miranda Gordy were there as well. You know, the daughter of Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And then at that time, our women's champion, SWE women's champion, Christy Janes was there. Now the SWE women's champion is Evilise. But our former women's champion, Christy Janes, was there, but they ran up to me and was like, we want you to go do this cooking seminar interview thing with Justin Wilson's booth. And I was like, you mean like the Justin Wilson, like the company, Justin Wilson's company, like seasoning company? They're like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And so the food was delicious too. So that's what I went over and did. But yeah, it was just a random, like, just so happened to, you know, we were kind of doing that throughout the week or throughout the weekend there. Like Christy went and helped on stage with one of the cooking seminars. We were just kind of all flitting about doing stuff, as well as promoting the SWE Fury show that was happening in the Irving Convention Center 2 weeks from that Zest Fest. So, and we're going to be back at the Irving Convention Center on August 28th. SWE is going to be, so we'll be back there. But yeah, it's a nice venue, and Zest Fest was fun. I love doing those kind of conventions because there's food, and I am a food motivated individual. So
that's probably another reason why you moved to New Orleans when you did. But yeah, you have to with the food.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, Texas and Louisiana are so close to each other, you know, next door neighbors, that a little bit of Texas flows into Louisiana and a little bit of Louisiana flows into Texas. Because I know, like, in Houston, they have a lot of Cajun restaurants and stuff like that. So it's a little bit, because I know when I go, like, in for the shows to Houston, I see, like, Cajun restaurants and stuff, and I'm like, I might try it one day. It's like, see if it measures up, you know.
Oh yeah, I've tried. You know, Nigel took me to Razoo's here so that I could test its, I guess, merit to real Cajun food, and it wasn't. I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna like stab me for this, but it actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like Cajun, but it was close enough that I was like, okay, I can. This is good. Okay.
Well, good. Yeah, because I'm a little weary about that because, you know, there's Cajun and then there's like people that try to cook Cajun food. But I think a lot of people move to Texas, they're actually like Cajun or they've cooked Cajun dishes before. So it's a little bit better that way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you mentioned it a little bit. We got Elev8 Pro Redemption. It's on July 24th, and it's Louisiana's first. I think it's the first show back from COVID, like all together in Louisiana. Is that right, or like Wildcat?
No.
I think. Yeah.
So actually, speaking of 225 and speaking of Gulf South Wrestling, I think Gulf South Wrestling. Yes. Gulf South Wrestling actually just had a show this past Saturday, yesterday.
Okay.
And they did very well. That is owned by Mustang Mike Beadle.
Yeah, we've had him on the show.
now 225 is running this Saturday. They're doing a show. That's Michael Boudreau. There's two Michaels. That's Mr. Michael Boudreau. And so 225 is going to be this Saturday. I don't know where. But you can find it on 225's page. And then we're running, Elev8 Pro is running July 24th, which is the following Saturday. And then Wildcat is running July 31st, the Saturday after that. So we're all running in July, but we all picked different Saturdays. So,
that's good. Yeah.
So you can actually just get a full month of your Saturdays being nothing but wrestling, and different wrestling too, because most of the time, a lot of us don't book the same individuals. We don't cross 225 and Gulf South and Elev8. We cross pollinate, but I know a lot of the people that I work with do not work with Wildcat. So we don't. So you can see new wrestling matches at each show. So it's not like you're going to go to a show and see the same match over and over and over again. You're going to see different matches from each company.
That's neat. Yeah, I'm glad Louisiana opened up again.
Yeah.
We finally get wrestling again.
Yes.
So I have the card, like some of the card for it. By the way, like the first row for people watching, like first row's gone for Redemption. That's how like everybody's craving wrestling. First row's gone. Second row's probably almost gone.
Second row's almost gone. I think I've got a few seats left. You can get them on the website, which is elev8pro.com. And there's a ticket link, or you can go to elev8pro.com/tickets if you want to get very specific. But yeah, second row we've got a little bit, and then obviously we have a third row, we have a fourth row, and we have a fifth row. And those are basically general admission, and it's not first come first serve, but it's whoever buys tickets first gets that priority of seating. So buy your tickets now in order to be in third row or fourth row, or it's like basically the stragglers who decide I'm just going to get them at the door will be sitting in fifth row and or standing room. So it's that kind of thing. First come first serve. So make sure that you have all of that. So
gotcha. So we got the Uprising champion Del Springs. He's gonna face Isaiah Zane.
Yep.
It's one of the matches there. We just had Minotaur on the show a few weeks ago. He's the champion at Elev8 Pro. He's gonna face Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got we're talking about this hybrid thing where people come from other promotions. We actually have you're gonna have Vert Vixen and Prince Adam come.
Yes. Prince Adam and Vert Vixen are good friends of mine, and I've worked with them quite often, especially Vert. I've worked with her quite a lot. And to see them both, the talent that both of them have is phenomenal. And they've never worked in Louisiana, so this will be their Louisiana debut. And I'm very excited, especially with Vert having such great matches on AEW Dark. And so yeah, I'm excited to see them in action. And I'm not going to announce the people that are going against each other, but she's going to be in action. We have Amaris Blair in action. We have Amber Rodriguez doing an open challenge. I have a couple other women that I'm going to announce soon that are going to be in action. And I also know that Prince Adam is going to be going up against our own, Elev8's own, and 225's own, Corey Constantine. So that's going to be one of the matches that we haven't announced yet. So surprise, you get one. Yay! It's gonna be Prince Adam versus Corey Constantine at the next show.
Awesome. We got a little exclusive there, so thank you. And then yeah, you mentioned all of the other ones, and then we got the Russell twins versus Culture Inc.
Yes,
The good
I love
tag team match
Culture.
there.
Culture is fantastic, and Culture has been chomping at the bit to come to Louisiana and work with Elev8 Pro. I am huge about having a locker room that is diverse and having a locker room that is a safe space for all walks of life and showing the talent that is from all over the globe and forcing it down the throats of people in Louisiana. So because they eventually like it. But yeah, so Culture Inc. is coming in, and I'm really excited about it because I've been trying to get them in, but obviously when the pandemic happened, it completely shut all of my plans for 2020 down because they were supposed to come in 2020. And so I'm very, very happy that they get to come in now. So
It looks like an awesome card from top to bottom. Pretty sure it will be. And it's July 24th. It's called Elev8 Pro Redemption, and it's in Chalmette, Louisiana.
yes.
So get your tickets. I still need to get mine.
Get your tickets, girl. Girl, I got second row left.
There
Get
we go. I'm gonna have to grab them before second row's going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talked to Vert at a couple of shows that I gone to, and she's excited to come to New Orleans for the first time. So I was like, yep, get your food on, get your grub on, go sightseeing, enjoy New Orleans while you can, while you're there. So yeah. So before I turn it over to Rob, I got two more things. Just to plug some stuff you're working on or that you're doing. You are going to the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Yes.
And you have some merch for sale, and you wanted to donate $500 of your merch sales to the Cauliflower Alley Club. So here's your platform, to explain a little bit and where people can buy your merch and how you're gonna donate to the Alley Club.
So I'm going to the Cauliflower Alley Club, and for those of you that don't know what the Cauliflower Alley Club is it is a charity nonprofit, a 501c that gives back to wrestlers, gives back to people who, in this business, obviously, you get hurt, you get beat up, you get broken down, and as you get older, your body gets to have all of those pains and sufferings and surgeries and problems and all of that kind of stuff. Aw, thank you. Book me for your next show. So
there you go.
I was told you were supposed to contact me and book me on commentary. So basically, I love that I feel like a grandma. I'm leaning in because I've got my ring light on, so I'm trying to read. Here's a question for Brittany. If you weren't doing wrestling, what would you be doing instead? Honestly, real talk, I probably wouldn't be on this earth. Just straight, not to get dark, but just straight up, I probably wouldn't be on this earth. Wrestling definitely saved my life more than once. And I feel like that has been a thing for a lot of people. And now I try to give back and entertain and give love and entertainment to those in the audience that need that little escape, need that away, because that's what we are. We're entertainers. We are there to give them that moment of escape, a few hours of escape from the pain and suffering and tragedies of the world. So yeah, so that's sorry to get really dark there for a second. And,
no,
but yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
Wrestling has saved a lot of people.
Yeah, it really, really has. But Cauliflower Alley Club basically is a nonprofit charity that helps wrestlers. And they also have a Hall of Fame that they induct people in. This year, Jazz is getting inducted. Medusa or Alundra Blaze is also getting inducted. And there's several other amazing. Rey Mysterio Jr. is getting inducted. Tino Santana is getting inducted. The Road Warriors and Paul Ellering are getting inducted. So those people will be there. It is a thing for wrestlers, by wrestlers, to wrestlers. And you don't have to be in the wrestling business to go. You can sign up to be a member and pay the membership dues. And then you can pay for a ticket and go to the reunion. You go to the dinners and everything like that. But there will be a bunch of us who are in the business there as well. So you get to, like, you know, rub shoulders with Rey Mysterio and all that kind of stuff too. You know, it's a great little thing, and I want to use a portion of my merchandise sales to donate to them, because you can also just donate money, and I want to, since I'm going there, I want to be able to donate something. And so if you want to contact me for merchandise, I've got my own tank tops. I do have Elev8 Pro stuff as well, but I have my own tank tops, I have pins, you know, 8x10s, all that kind of stuff. Just hit me up, let me know what you want, and a portion of that goes. If you just want to donate, also, I have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. If you just want to donate funds to Cauliflower Alley, all of those donations are going directly to them. So you can hit me up and do that as well. So that's that for Cauliflower Alley. So I'm very excited. What causes do you support? What causes do I support? I like these things. Causes I support: animals. I love animals. I support anything that has to do with helping wrestlers and the wrestling industry be a better place than what I walked into. I'm a huge supporter of the LGBTQIA community, and a huge supporter of Black Lives Matter and trans rights. And there's an amazing, speaking of New Orleans, there's an amazing nonprofit called the Tulip House, which is an amazing nonprofit that people should donate and look into, that helps house trans individuals who have been kicked out by their families or parents or whatnot, that are ending homeless on the street, and helps get them jobs and get them housing and gets them on their feet and gives them a safe space to be who they want to be. So the Tulip House is an amazing nonprofit in New Orleans that y'all should check out and support if you want to be a philanthropist. Apparently I can't talk. I do this for a living and I can't say philanthropist. There we go. Okay, what else?
I think Alicia's got another question.
Alicia, what else would you like to know? What about health causes such as breast cancer and endometriosis, etc.? I don't know a lot about endometriosis, and I don't know a lot about breast cancer. I mean, I know what breast cancer is, but I obviously cancer is terrible. Anybody who can support, you know, cancer research and funding, awesome. Hell yeah, do that. I also love teaching people about, there is a huge thing that a lot of people don't think is real, but also is real, is mental health awareness. Just, you know, getting people's mental health right, realizing that it is an issue, it is a problem. There needs to be more resources for young individuals and older individuals who are alone to have outreach, you know, patient things, and more affordable mental health, you know, for people, because mental health is really expensive. Like, as somebody who is going to college for a psychology degree, psychology is expensive, but they also charge so ridiculous amounts of money. So cheaper mental health reach outs and everything would be a huge plus for, I think, everyone. So
yeah, for sure. And then there's one more thing that you're going. Well, by the way, I think Scott just booked you on August 27th for his Too Hot to Handle show. So there's we're giving you jobs on Ringside Society. we're helping you there.
I'll give you your 10%.
Sweet.
Speaking of that, Scott, my rate went up 10% so that I can give that.
Yeah, Emily, as you know, Emily, she was there for Diamonds Are Forever. She was like, know your worth, Kathy. Stop working for free.
Oh, yeah, don't work for free. Look, there's a difference between, like, back in the, say, like, paying your dues is a thing. You have to pay your dues. Yes. The first 3 years of my career, I got paid nothing. Not a dime. But in this day and age, that's really it's not really reality. It's not something that you can really do in this day and age because everybody needs something. So I make sure all of my, and it might not be much. I might only be able to give my students, like a little bit of money, but I make sure every single person that walks through and works for Elev8 Pro gets paid. Like, no one is working for free except for me because I'm the promoter and I don't get paid. But no one else is working for free.
Yeah, Scott of all people needs treatment. Sorry, Scott.
I don't like using the word crazy. I think the word crazy is a negative connotation, and I don't like the idea of using the word crazy for people who have mental health issues. Scott.
Scott.
So yeah, the word crazy, I think, is especially for women who have mental health problems or issues. The word crazy, insane, bipolar. Like a lot of people will throw out terms and misdiagnose people just to use it as a negative connotation. So I try not to use the word crazy in a fashion when talking about mental health. Now, if it's talking about a crazy move that happens in the ring, I'm down for it. That's the right kind of crazy for me. So that's me. Sorry. Sorry, Scott. Didn't mean to put you on blast like that, but yeah, you can fire me later. That's kind of fine.
Yeah, I was at Diamonds Are Forever, so I didn't hear your commentary, but I watched it on YouTube, and the part where it was Lainey Luck and Promise Braxton, you probably know where I'm going with this, when you're like, Promise is vegan, why is she biting her? I could not stop laughing. I thought that was awesome.
Booker T was in the back that whole night listening to my commentary and watching the show on the monitors and listening to my commentary, and he gave me props on my commentary, and so that was a big deal to hear Booker T tell me that I was doing a good job and that I had some good shit, is what he said. So I'm very pleased with that. That was a high for me to get praise from a man who does commentary, has done this business for a long time, and is really an icon, a living legend. So it was really, really nice to have that. So.
Yeah, I know you still get butterflies. I mean, people do always. I mean, for this show, I get butterflies. It means you actually care. Like, if you're nervous, that means you're not caring anymore. Mm-hmm. But from Booker T, that's high praise. And you sure he didn't say good shit? The T.
He might have. I don't know. I was too excited.
So the last thing I wanted to talk about that you could plug before I turn it over to Rob is you're actually in a Miss Health and Fitness 2021 competition, and you're top 5 right now.
Yes,
and people can
the finalists soon. Yeah.
So how do people get to vote for you?
Just go to misshealthandfitness.com and you can look me up, or you can follow my links on all of my pages. You find them everywhere, or on Nigel Rabbit's page. He posts it all the time. He's a huge supporter of me. But yeah, so everyone in the Miss Health and Fitness competition is either a fitness model, a bodybuilder, something of that that ilk. And I was like, I'm going to give it a shot, because I'm literally like, my body as well is an embodiment of health and fitness, because I am on a fitness journey and I am going through the motions of learning to eat properly, going to the gym, keeping myself, physically and mentally healthy. And I want people to see, like, this too is an embodiment of Miss Health and Fitness. I'm your average Joe, but that's basically a majority of the people in the gym. That's the majority of the people trying to get that diet started, or trying to lose weight, or trying to get healthy. The bodybuilders and the fitness models and stuff already have it down. They already have it down pat. They have a pattern. They're good. The athletes and stuff like that, they already have it set. So I want people to start seeing on covers, or seeing in magazines, or seeing like on social media, more people that can be related to a majority of people, so that they realize that it is obtainable. Like, if they see somebody like me and then get to where I'm at, and then go past that, and then get to where a fitness model's at, like, that's the next step. I don't want people to see what they are now and then see a bodybuilder and go, oh, I could never do that, because they can't see the steps. They can't see the next process. And I'm the next process. You know, people like me are the next process. You got to take that first step. And so I want people to be able to see that. So that's why I'm trying. The fact that I got into the top 5 in my group, I'm like, oh, hey. So I'm happy with that. If I don't make it into the finals, it is what it is. I'm proud of myself for even putting myself on the line like that and putting myself out there like that, because it's a very vulnerable state to do that. So I'm very pleased. So yeah, you can follow it on my page, anywhere else, like all of that kind of stuff. Hey, I'm buffering a lot on my end. Sorry. Sorry, I'm buffering. I'll just stand very still.
So yeah, that's very impressive, especially top 5. I did vote for you, by the way. So trying to get you in that top 3, maybe 1, hopefully. But yeah, it's very inspiring for, like you said, it's very obtainable for like normal people, and you're very inspiring for that. We're not all fitness models. We can't be, but you're definitely an inspiration. And as I was doing research, like on your Facebook page, you and Nigel actually work out together, so that's relationship goals right there too. And it's always good to have somebody to motivate you as well. So even if you're not a couple, like maybe some friends could go out and work together and just be like a support system for each other. So that's awesome too.
Yeah. We always, like, he's actually the one who motivated me to start going to the gym more. You would think being in wrestling, I would be into fitness, and that's definitely not the case. But you know, so he's definitely been a huge supporter. And also, sometimes I'm just cursing at him because he's forcing me to go to the gym. But I go anyway. So at the end, after it's over, I'm like, okay, I'm glad we did that. But the whole drive there, I'm just cursing him out under my breath that we're heading to the gym. So there's always that.
Well, you two are engaged to be married, so I mean, there's cursing anyway. So I mean, not just in the gym. So there you go. I mean, I guess you're prepping yourself for marriage.
I mean, and we work together too, because we were both stars of SWE Fury. You know, he is the manager of the War Kings, which is Jax, Dane, and Crimson. And so, like, you know, and he's managed Charlie Haas, he's managed Rodney Mack, he's managed so many people in the Rabbit Empire for SWE. And yeah, so we work together in that ilk as well, because he also jumps on commentary. So we do commentary together. We're backstage with each other. We are a couple that not only lives together and goes to the gym together, but we work together. So there's cursing involved.
Yeah, they had for Diamonds Are Forever. I know when I watched the YouTube show, he was in the chat too. So he was even involved in the show. He was talking with fans and stuff like that as the matches were going on and as you were commentating. So that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, he's a huge supporter of me, which is rare in this business. If you date somebody in the business or with somebody in the business, a lot of times, because the business is competitive, a lot of times you're also competing with each other, especially when you do the same things. The only thing that we do different is I'm not a manager. I don't manage. And so, you know, he's done announcing. He's traveled to Pakistan and done shows in Pakistan as an announcer and commentator. He's traveled to India and worked for the Great Khali and was their announcer and commentator. So he's done amazing things and is so talented. So, you know, we could be competing with each other, but we don't. You know, we definitely, you know, support each other and lift each other up. And he's such a huge supporter, and it's mind blowing to have that. Sometimes I'm like, are you sure you're real? Like, this is real, right? Like, this isn't like psych. Like, you know, so, but yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, you sure Nigel's not an alien? I mean, I know he's British, but it's like, are you real? Like, sometimes you probably pinch him, like, okay, you're real. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And let's be real, the fact that he's British, like, that accent though, Swoon. Like, let's be real here. Like, I mean, he could tell me I'm trash and he says it in that accent. I'm just like, okay.
I know, right? They could be like screw off, and you're like, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Exactly.
Like it's the accent.
Exactly. I'm just like, cool.
It's like, oh, he's mad at me, but this is kind of cool. Okay, yeah. Cool.
The bonus is so far he hasn't gotten mad at me to the point where he's like yelled. Usually I'm the one. I have a temper. I get passionate, not temper. I get passionate.
There you go.
And I never get mad at him. It's usually we get heated when we start talking about wrestling. And and wrestling companies and other promoters and stuff, because I see working one way for things in my aspect of promoting. And when other promoters I work for don't work in that way, I get furious. And I get heated, and I'm just like, this is not the way you do it. And he's always like, baby, calm down. Not your circus. I'm like, okay, yes, you're right. I just work here. Okay.
Yeah, like simmer down. Yeah. It's not Elev8 Pro. Calm down.
The best part is though, like now I'm not in those kind of companies. Like the companies I work for now, like SWE Fury is mind-blowingly amazing. Like Mission Pro Wrestling is mind-blowingly amazing. You know, Pele Pro, Texoma Pro, but like, oh my goodness, like the way SWE Fury runs, because they do television and they are a huge production, and I get to work with people like Teddy Long and, you know, obviously Rodney Jazz, Charlie Haas, you know, Big Kaz XL and Enzo have come in, Melena's there, like Evilise is there. There are so many huge stars that have been to the top of the mountain and now are like training us to go to the top of the mountain. You know, I get to sit next to Kevin Sullivan and call commentary. Wow. You know, I get to see people and work with and learn from people like the Reinforcer, Andrew Anderson. You know, James Beard, who is an amazing referee. He has taught us so much. You know, so that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is? Oh. Hi, Ryan. Ryan's wonderful.
Yeah, Ryan's awesome. Hey, Ryan. We see you. So before I turn it over to Rob, just wanted to say thank you very much for coming on the show. And as I told you before, congratulations on your engagement. Looking forward to the wedding and everything. And thank you for, you know, being on the show. And we love you guys. And, you know, congratulations on all your accomplishments. And you know, hope for the future that you're going to do well, you know, commentating and announcing and married life and all that. You know, we wish nothing but the best for you. And I'll turn it over to Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
Word up. Sweet. Thank you, Kathy. So how you doing today, Brittany? How's everything going your way?
I'm good. I'm upright. I've got my Bang energy drink. I'm chilling.
Word up. That's right. So I do have to ask, do any of those pandas back there know Kung Fu?
You know, Cohen probably does, and I'm gonna take him down. This is Cohen Bear. And,
okay, cool.
And then this is his brother Oreo.
Oh, nice.
And they're my big snuggle bears, for sure. They were Nigel's, and he's had them for forever, and he gifted them to me as mine so that I could have little cuddle buddies. But yeah, those two. Cohen probably knows Kung Fu. He's a little aggressive.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll make sure, you know, not to say anything crazy, because I don't need no panda coming through here to hit me with a drop kick.
I don't need no panda.
I don't need no panda coming up here. Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, and yeah, like Kathy said, I do want to say, yeah, congratulations on y'all, you know, your future nuptials and all that. You know, I wish you all the best and all, you know. I'm happy for people taking that dip, because I'm scared of marriage, because I believe 100% of marriages either end in death or divorce. So, you know, I'm kind of scared about that, you know.
I mean, that is a fact. That is very true. And, you know, I've never been married, and I was I was like you. I said that I was never going to get married. I said that I was never going to have kids. I was like, nope, that's not for me. You know,
Right.
I'm gonna be the crazy aunt that comes in and just, you know, showers kids with love and weird presents and then just bounces, you know, with a bottle of rosé in her hand. Like that was gonna be my thing. And then I did this terrible idea where I fell in love, and then he proposed, and I screwed up and I said yes. And now all of a sudden, apparently doing that means that you have a party about it, and you get signed some papers, and you join yourselves together in spirit and in finances for the rest of your days. So never say never. Because also now in my brain, I'm 32. I will be 33 in December. And at this point, my mother had me when she was 36. So at this point in my brain, I'm like, I could probably have a kid when I'm 36. Like that could be a thing. Like, so now I'm also thinking about babies, which is also weird that I'm thinking about that. So yeah, never say never. So hooray.
That's right. Hey, I'm all in. I love love. You know, whenever I see happy couples together, I'm not jealous or anything. I love that. I love seeing that. You know what I mean? I'm 39. I turned 40. You know, but you know what I mean? I feel like nobody would have me. You know, so I'm like, whatever. You know, maybe one day.
Not true. I was gonna say maybe one day. I mean, that's the thing is that Nigel, he probably would hate if I told the age, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Nigel's 45, so it's one of those things of like, you know, like you still have a chance.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's right. Maybe one day, you know, fingers crossed.
I was older than Nigel. Wow. That's crazy. He doesn't look anywhere near 40. I kid you not.
It's because he's
right.
British.
Yeah.
There's
Don't
something
you know?
in the water over there.
Nah, it's true. See, I know. See, me and Nigel and I are vampires. You know what I mean? I've known him from back in the days. You know what I mean? We just, you know, that's how we say. You know, people like us stay so youthful.
Exactly. Yeah, he straight up is a vampire.
Now, I did want to ask about that. You know, he has like awesome facial hair. You know what I mean? Now, if I could grow facial hair, you know, I'd probably, you know, do something with it. I was sitting here wondering. I was like, who takes longer in the bathroom to get ready or whatever? Is it you with your hair and makeup and stuff, or is he in there longer than you? Because you gotta get some clippers. You gotta do that thing right. You know what I mean? I'm like, he's over there like dude on the Hunger Games. You know? I'm like, yo.
Here's the thing. It depends on the day, but honestly, we're pretty equal.
Okay.
Because of the last minute things that can happen show day wise, things like that. I've learned to throw a face on and make my hair look semi presentable pretty quickly. He can do that too. However, if we actually have our druthers and have time, I'd say me and him both probably spend like an hour and a half getting ready. You know, he gets his hair perfect. He does his facial hair. He makes sure that it looks good, looks even and straight. Cause like, you know, you gotta make sure the lines are straight. You know, I curl my hair and I have a lot of hair. It's very thick. I hate it. I mean, I love it, but I hate it. You know, and then doing my face and my makeup and then gluing these little wigs onto my eyelids. You know, all of that takes time. So yeah, I would say I probably can, like, if I'm really into like being very detailed, I can take longer, but we're pretty even. We pretty much finish around the same time, which is nice.
That's good. Well, that's cool. That's pretty cool. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I figure you know something out there. Come on, I got this to do. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, no, he was very impressed with, like, when we started, you know, actually like staying together and then started living together. He was like, he'd be ready and I'd be like just finishing up the last bit of something, and he'd be like, oh, you're also ready. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I don't know. Oh, okay. I guess we leave now. I'm like, yeah. That's how that works.
There you go. That's right. Hey, I'm an ordained minister, so if you need somebody to get y'all hitched, you know what I mean, let me know. 'Cause I'm always in for a trip to Florida. You ain't got to pay me, you know what I mean? Just let me eat some
Well,
food.
well, here's the thing: is you're gonna have to fight his father on that because his father is an
Oh,
Episcopal.
oh.
His father is an Episcopal priest. So
I don't know what. I'm not real religious. I don't know what that is, but I know what a priest is. But whatever.
Episcopal is like Catholic light. It's like it's like Catholicism, but priests can marry and have kids and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
like it's Catholic, but you're allowed to live your life.
Okay.
So
it's not like a Dogma, that movie Dogma, with the Catholics in there. No. Okay.
But yeah, so he will be officiating the wedding when we have a wedding. But you know, if anybody wants to try to fight him, I don't suggest it though. He's scrappy.
No, I'm not. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm good.
Yeah, right. Same.
I ain't trying to walk around with black eyes and broken arms. Yeah.
I'm the fighter. Nigel is it's really funny. Nigel is so aggressive in ring. Like once he passes that curtain, he's a whole different individual than what I know. But other than that, he's a lover. I'm the fighter. I'm a love. That's so weird. When I go through the curtain, I'm very sunshine and rainbows. But but I'm a fighter and any other time. And then when he goes through the curtain, he will knock your head off with the cricket bat. But other than that, he's a puppy dog afterwards.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh man, that's great. Now I do like the pronouns on your thing. You know, I mean that's pretty awesome. You know, I mean I don't think anybody else has done that yet. With their pronouns up there.
I you know, what's really funny is I got into the habit of doing that because of a job that I had over the pandemic time. Was a Zoom call job, and it was like a like data entry kind of work, but all of the people that worked, we were asked to do so that we could get to know each other and not like, you know, because all of us were from all over. Like people were from New York, Louisiana, Texas, California, you know, all different places. So, you know, learning everyone's pronouns when we talked to them, it was just easier to have it up and have it on so that you weren't kind of staring at somebody and going, what do I how do I say you guy person you know, so just makes everything it makes everything better, makes everything flow so that, you know, people don't get offended or upset or feel awkward about it, you know. So yeah, I've just gotten to the habit of doing that. And if I'm in a group and we're doing like the whole round robin of like, you know, all right, let's go around the room and you know, say who we are and where we're from and like that. A lot of things now have been like, you know, all right, let's go around the room, say who we are, where we're from, and, you know, what our preferred pronouns are, just so that it can, you know, help everybody feel more comfy.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, it's crazy. Now that I'm an adult, I know what a pronoun is, but during school, I couldn't tell you what one is. If you asked me, I'd be like, a noun that lost its amateur status. Like, that's literally an answer I would give. Like, you know what I mean? You know, for the past couple of years, you know what I mean? Oh, this is all it took for me to know what a pronoun is.
That's
I could have, like, got... Oh my gosh! Oh
yeah,
man.
I mean, the Schoolhouse Rock. Thank you, Schoolhouse Rock, back in the day. For those of us that remember Schoolhouse Rock.
That's right. Now, when you were talking earlier, you were saying like Jericho was one of your favorites and all, and like that. And last night, literally, I was watching a Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and you'll never guess who was in that movie. It's like, you know, Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Mr. Chris Irving himself, Chris Jericho,
right.
is in that movie. He is. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not the character he was playing in that movie, you know.
No,
but yeah,
no. But him as a person, he's a good dude. I've hung out with him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now I do have to ask, because I did see a picture with like you and Boogeyman, and that's my niece. She loves watching the Boogeyman. Also, I have to ask you, you know, what was it like meeting the Boogeyman, and did he spit worms on you or something? Because she's going to ask me that, so I gotta get the answer.
Okay, first of all, Boogie, he's wonderful. He is sweet. He is so great. You know, I'm very blessed that a lot of these wrestlers, these vets that I've worked with at SWE Fury, have taken me under their wing. They're very watchful of me. They're
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We got cut off.
Dang it, Rob.
Oh, man. Snoochie Boochies. Hopefully she'll come back in a minute, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. When's Money in the Bank? Is it next Sunday?
Next Sunday, yep.
Do they have the card all filled out yet? Because I still think aren't they waiting for the women's Money in the Bank, like one or two more, or it is all?
Yeah,
filled
I think
out?
so. I think there's one or two more people, more slots.
Okay. I was just trying to make sure.
I disappeared.
Hey!
Oh, no.
We were blaming Rob. We
was
said
like-
it was his fault.
No, dude,
know,
we talked about Boogeyman, and that's all of a sudden it was just like
It's Boogeyman's fault. He was like, "Ugh."
that
right.
was terrifying. I was like, he's great, and all of a sudden it was like, but yeah, like I've learned a lot. So Boogeyman, yeah, but those worms, keep them away. Keep them away. Zula, who has been put under the Boogeyman spell, she is an amazing wrestler. She's a newer wrestler, up and coming, and she's all in, man. She has eaten the worms with Boogie, and they're real worms. Don't think they're fake. He has somebody go get them, or he picks them up himself from a store every time and eats them and throws them around. And one time we actually had a fan actually eat a worm, and he was impressed. He was like, whoa, okay, all right. But Zula is also eating the worms with him, and it is terrifying. But kudos to her, because I wouldn't do it. But yeah, he's great and all. Just keep those worms away from me.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not eating worms either. You know what I mean? I always mess with Kathy. Like, I wouldn't eat crawfish. You know what I mean? You got to break them apart, suck their brains out and stuff. I'm good.
I mean, the brains aren't there anymore. They're cooked out in the boil, so it's just liquid. It's not their brains. Their brains are gone. They don't really have brains. They're a water bug. So it's just
eating bugs. Now, I did eat sweet and sour crickets one time. I forget where I went, like Virginia or something. They sold them in the store. It was like little crickets, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've eaten Cheetos, like cheese crickets, like the ones that are like covered in cheese. I've eaten those crickets. Yeah, they taste like Cheetos. Sorry for anybody who likes Cheetos. They taste like Cheetos.
Yeah, I love cheesy foods.
Yeah. But yeah, Boogeyman is great, terrifying, and great.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Yeah. After you disappear talking about Boogeyman, I think I gotta get some salt and put it around my doorway, supernatural style. You know what I mean? Maybe pray, for Dean and Sam Winchester, come, circle the house or something. You know what I mean? Like, so, I got beagles here. You know what I mean? They'll let me know, but they ain't attacking nobody.
Oh no, of course not.
If you come in with a treat, they'll be like, oh, you can have it whatever you want. You know what I mean? You want that TV there? You want the Xbox? All this? Yeah, computer. There you go.
Here, I'll get it for you.
Yeah, there, go play fast. You're like, oh, you gave me a treat. You're good. Yeah, we're good for life. Now, I did want to talk about your commentary and stuff like on that, because everybody was saying you did awesome last Saturday. I was sitting there, I'm sitting here, you did the damn thing. That's what I was saying. You were on there like, oh man, I don't know how you did it, man. You were commenting on the match. You're sitting here hyping other wrestlers up. You're giving shout outs over there. I'm just like, how do you do it? You know what I mean? Do you have tips for it? Did you have a little energy drink or something? Like, woo.
Thank you. I can tell you right now, I didn't know that I was going to be on solo commentary until the show was about to start. I was supposed to have a commentary partner with me, and then he wasn't able to make it, so it became a solo thing for me. So that was a last minute thing. And I can't believe, so asking me how I did it, I don't know. I don't know how I did it. I just went into business mode and went into pulled all of the skills out of my body and just, tried to do my job. So thank you. I'm really glad that it came across professional and fun and entertaining, because that's what I try to do.
Oh yeah, because I was like, man, I don't know how you did it by yourself. If it was me, I'd like, man, I need somebody, to bounce off of or whatever. I'd just be sitting there like, Snoochie Boochie. Or I'd be calling the wrong, I just be yelling every move, be like, Uchi got Ochi, I just, or anytime somebody does a row, I just like, Tope Canilo, I just be yelling stuff out, and they're like, that's not even the move they did. I'm like, whatever.
Well, and as a female too, I have to know the moves. I have to know my shit. Sorry, curse. I have to know my. I said I wasn't gonna curse.
You're good.
I have to know my shit because, as a woman in wrestling, especially not a worker, I'm not a wrestler. I get a lot of criticism, and there's a lot of eyes on me going, "Oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she's talking about." Yada yada yada. So I have to be on my stuff in order to show people that women can do commentary. Women can talk about matches. I can talk about not just women's matches. I do know the women more than I know a lot of people in Texas wrestling. But I do my research. I talk to the wrestlers before the shows. I find out from the promoters what we need to put over. I find out all the things and compile my list of things to talk about on top of watching the match and calling things in real time. So I do a lot of multitasking when it comes to that, so that I can have those kind of things. But I can call a match.
Oh, yes, you can. Yeah. You're awesome on there. I was like, yes. I always enjoy when I watch these anything on YouTube and knowing your comment, and I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta turn this up. We gotta listen to you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. Now I do gotta ask. You're saying like China was like one of your favorites also, and yeah, I love China too. Like Ninth Wonder of the World. She was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you get to see that China documentary a couple weeks ago, about a month ago?
I haven't yet. I haven't watched it. I haven't brought myself to watch it because I know I'm going to cry. Look, I cry at every...
yes.
Okay, so
I did, so you probably will too.
I cry at every documentary I watch about wrestling. I cry. Dark Side of the Ring had me in tears every episode. I cried in the Mick Foley documentary. I've cried at the Iron Chef. I cry at every wrestling documentary I see. I cry when there's a 10 bell salute for somebody who's passed away. I'm in tears. I hate being physically present for a 10 bell. I didn't realize how emotional it is, because I would watch them on television, for WWE and stuff like that, and I would get emotional, and I would cry. Actually being at an event and having known the person and doing a 10 bell, a whole nother wave of emotions. So I get very emotional with those things. So I haven't watched the China documentary yet because I know I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
Oh yes. And you're definitely going to be like cuss out like the documentary dude and her manager and stuff. Because I was sitting there, I was like, man, I don't know. They say I'm not a violent person or whatever, but if I ever met him in person, I'd probably be like, F you or something. Like, yeah, dude, you were just awful. Just a horrible person. Oh, man.
Good to know.
Yeah, I love those docs too. Yeah,
Good
the only one I couldn't watch was the one with Jake the Snake's dad. What's his name? Grizzly Smith or whatever. Because I can't take that, because I can't even watch like Law and Order SVU. I can't even watch that. That turns my stomach. I'm like, that's like, oh man, I can't deal with that stuff.
That stuff has no effect on me. I love horror movies and scary movies and slasher films. I love all that stuff. So yeah, that has no effect.
I do too, but I do too. But it's that the SVU. Like I remember one time at like 9 in the morning, I hear anal contusion. I'm like, oh my god, no, I don't want to hear about any of this. And no, I'm good. I mean, come on, Ice-T.
Well, you don't want a little. You don't want a little anal contusion with your breakfast. What's going on with your coffee?
That was a legit, I legit heard that, and I'm like, yeah, okay,
All right, okay.
Yeah, all right, yeah, okay, I mean, do your thing, all right, Ice-T, all right, Now, so speaking about, movies, I guess, and, liking horrors and stuff, are there any new movies, TV shows that you're into right now?
Sorry, I'm plugging my phone in. Okay. Any new movies that I'm into? Oh, I'm gonna go see Black Widow tonight, I think.
Ooh. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like the Marvel movies. Uh-oh. Now I'm getting dizzy. Oh, you're on mute.
There I am. Hi. I had to plug my
Okay.
phone.
There we go.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah, I want to see the Black Widow movie. I love the Marvel movies and stuff. I want to check it out. One of these days, I'll go check it out because I haven't been to a movie yet over a year. So yeah, I need to go.
Well, me
That's
and
right.
Nigel haven't actually been because we found love in the time of COVID. We haven't been on a traditional date, so we've never done a movie date. So we're gonna try to do. He's actually, what's really funny is he's in the other room right now, doing a podcast as well for fans of SWE Fury, while I'm doing this podcast. So we're both working right now.
Okay.
And then we're gonna join forces and hopefully go see a movie.
That's right. That's right. Your powers combined. That's right. I'm all for it. Let's go. So yeah, like you were talking about earlier, doing, starting to work out and all that stuff. And do you have like, workout tips for, somebody that's as sloth like as me? You know what I mean? Because, like I don't do anything, to hang out for the past few decades. Farthest I've ran was like, when the taco truck, pulls up or something, I run to get tacos. So, do you have workout tips and stuff? And then also, what's in your workout playlist?
So workout tips, I'm terrible at this. Actually me and Nigel's trainer is Moonshine Mantel, Ryan Moonshine Mantel. His day job is personal trainer. So he's the one who has given us all of our, training regimens. So I just listen to what he tells me to do. But playlist wise, this is going to sound terrible.
Oh, you're good.
I am poor. So I don't have AirPod thing, like wireless thingies. So I really only listen to whatever is playing in the gym because I move around a lot and stuff like that. So I don't actually listen to music on my playlist. But I do have a gym playlist. I just don't. I just listen to it in the car.
There you go.
There you go.
Brittany, it's okay. You're looking at a man that works out to Hollywood Undead, so you can't get more messed up than that.
I love Hollywood Undead though. Hollywood Undead is fantastic. Like I like everything from old country to horrorcore. I'm a good mix of all different genres of music. So yeah, it really just depends on the day or the mood. But yeah, honestly, like whatever's playing in Planet Fitness, which is usually pop music, is what I'm listening to, because I don't have headset thingies to go in my ears.
That's all good. Yeah, I'm with you. I like all types of music too. I think I got it from my dad because 1 minute we'll be listening to Jimi Hendrix, the next is the Temptations, then it's Frank Zappa, and then it's all this other stuff. It's like, oh, okay, all right, pop. Because I'll do the same thing. I'll jam to some Bobby Brown. And the next song comes on, Weird Al. Then I got some Metallica. Then I got Juicy J. You know what I mean? Then Katy Perry, Adele. There we go. And I'll be sitting there at the stoplight, hello from the outside. I'll do it. I'll hit the nose. I don't even care. That's right. I can't sing, but I like to pretend I can. Now, before I pass it on back to Remy, I do have one more question. For all your years, you've been doing, wrestling and all that stuff. And do you have any, funny backstage road stories that have happened over the years? I mean, you can change the name to protect the incident if you need to. Like, maybe somebody forgot, gear, flat tires, wild stuff like that.
What's really funny is like I don't think about them as fun. Like I don't know. I guess people that I work with, because now I'm in this business where like I'm not back in the 80s, 80s or 90s when it was still kind of the Wild West where people were still like, so like now it's down to a science almost of things. I think the craziest thing that's happened as of late, honestly, is that the last SWE Fury show, Charlie Haas had come out with Rodney Mack and Max Castillos. He got in a fan's face because a fan got up, and Charlie got in the fan's face because the fan got in his face, and then another fan, and so he pushed the fan, and another fan out of nowhere comes up and straight up just sucker punches Charlie in the face. And then Rodney comes behind Charlie and punches this fan in the face. And none of this was planned. This wasn't a plant. This wasn't part of the show. This legit happened. Like, Charlie was bleeding from the mouth. Like, this legit. And we all didn't know that it wasn't, because, like, a lot of the show doesn't really get told to the entire talent list. So, like, there's things that go on during the show that not all of us are privy to. And so some of us were like, wait, is this a work? Is this part of the show? It's part of the show. It's got to be part of the show. It's part of the show. It's got to be. And then after the match was over, Charlie comes in the back just so mad. Not, goes up to people, to Teddy and all them, and is like, did you see that fan punched me in the face? And we were like, this was not part of the show. But that fan got laid out by Rodney Mack, and then the security and the police and stuff had to handle things from there. So note to all y'all, do not go one-on-one with Charlie Haas, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have Rodney Mack dropping you. Like, he dropped him with one punch. It was very entertaining. Don't try it at home,
That's
kids.
Right. That's right. Yeah. I don't know what he was thinking, you know what I mean? He must fell and bumped his head or something, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. He was drinking too much White Claw before he went in there or something, you know what I mean? I don't know what he did, yeah. But I do want to say, before I pass on back to Remy and all, I want to say, thank you for taking time out of your day, your busy schedule, coming on chatting with us. I had a blast chatting with you, getting to hear your story, all that stuff. I really had a fun time, and hopefully, maybe we can do this again, or if I can travel around down south sometime, I'll catch a show you're at and all.
Yeah, I mean, come to, like I said, Elev8 Pro, July 24th, Chalmette, Louisiana. We have tickets on sale. We have an amazing show lined up. So it's our first show back. 2020, right. We only had one show. We had a show in January of 2020. And then after that, everything was shut down. And so this will be our first show back in like a year and a half. So. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah, everybody, if y'all hear that, y'all go to that show, on the 24th. They're going to blow the roof off the place. They're going to tear it up down there. That's right. So, I just want to say before I pass back to Remy, all the positive things for you, Nigel, and all that stuff. I hope your dogs have a great day. I hope you have fun at the movies, all that good stuff. And I'll see you. I'll talk to you later.
Brittani, I just have to say thank you very much for actually, giving us this opportunity to interview you. We really and truly do appreciate it. We also appreciate, having somebody that, is very influential in the, pro wrestling industry, to actually come out here and just shoot the breeze with us about wrestling. And I'll say this, if there's anything we can do to promote Elev8 Pro. Sorry, I just came off a 12-hour shift, so I'm kind of like running on fumes. But if there's anything we can do,
I get it.
If there's anything we can do to promote like Elev8 Pro from here on out, like if it's a flyer or any fundraiser you're doing, just feel free to either tag us in it or, just send it to us. We're not doing this for clout. We're not just a podcast, but we also like to let fans know in the local areas what promotions are there, whether it be the great state of New York, to Miami, to out there in Louisiana and Texas, even more way out there to California. So we like to let the fans know what's out there and what show they can go and check out and all that jazz. So definitely, feel free to if we could ever do that for you, just let us know. And July 24th, for those of you in Louisiana, as a matter of fact, for those of you in Houston, Texas, but let's be honest, if Kathy could travel to Houston, Texas for a show, y'all could travel from Houston, Texas to Louisiana, 5 hours to go attend the show. So, and I'm gonna also touch on this too. For those of y'all that got those flyer miles, yes, I know some of y'all work at the airlines. You got those buddy passes. Hop on that buddy pass. I'm now in Louisiana, the Paul Noel Gym in Chalmette, Louisiana. The other time is 7:30. Check out, Elev8 Pro. They got a lot of big things going on. You won't want to miss it. And like I said, support independent wrestling, support indie wrestling, because that's where, I guess 97, 99% of your stars in AEW and WWE and Impact and Ring of Honor come from is the indies. If you don't support indie wrestling, I'm going to definitely have Rob eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Y'all think I'm playing. He will do it. You will find a skipping rope in your pot for every meal. And it's because Rob was there, ate your food. Now you got to skip a meal. So definitely support. Yeah, that's right. We'll do it too. And not only that, so I'll probably have Kathy gonna pay you a visit. You don't want that either. But with that being said, definitely check it out. They do it not just for the money and the fame. They do it to entertain the fans as well. So definitely check it out. But with that being said, it is time for us to actually go ahead and close the show. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is grumbling, so that means it's time for a midnight snack, and a nap. Maybe not in that order. But before I do that, Brittani, where can fans find you on social media if they want to find out when the next Elev8 Pro show is? And where can bookers and promoters find you if they would like to hire you for your services as a commentator, event host, or ring announcer?
So you can find Elev8 Pro at Elev8 Pro, literally ELV, the number 8, or ELEV, I can't even spell. ELEV, the number 8, Pro, and Elev8Pro.com. Me, you can find me at Look It's Brittani, which is LOOKITSBRITTANI on all social media platforms. Also have a website, lookitsbrittany.com, or you can just look up my name. You can find me, through also, places like SWE Fury, Mission Pro, Elev8 Pro. Find me through those people. They have me tagged in things and contacts and all that kind of stuff. Follow all of that kind of stuff. Yes, will do. That's where you can find me. You can book me, Brittani Nikole Official at Gmail. Hit me up. Follow Elev8 Pro.
Awesome. And tell Nigel don't go too far. We're gonna be looking to have him on this show too, because we want to hear his story as well. And with that being said, we want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Make sure you follow our Twitch mod, Alicia the Warrior Princess. She's on Instagram under Endo Survivor 282, and she's on Twitch. She's on Twitter and Instagram under Endo Survivor 282, and she's on Twitch under Alicia Warrior Princess. With that being said, first off, Kathy Knight, the mistress of misadventure, not just Mardi Gras, misadventure that cost me so much money. I'm not even going to recover when I start selling proper merchandise. Where can fans find you on social media if they want to, shoot the breeze about wrestling or be on the show? Where you at?
So I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and Discord, all at BLU7.
Awesome. She's everywhere. If you pop out of my closet, make sure you have a Whopper. I'll be very upset if you don't have a Whopper. But Rob Bass, where can fans find you on social media if they want to, be on the show, shoot the breeze about wrestling? And where can bookers and promoters find you if they would like to request your refereeing services? Yes, people heard correctly. He's training to become a referee. Where are you at on social media, bro?
Yeah, you can find me Rob_Bass82 at Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, and then Rob Bass at Facebook and YouTube.
Awesome. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, but who knows, maybe you'll get lucky. You can definitely find me on Twitter under @TheRemyBlue. You can also find me on Facebook under Remy Blue. It's a picture of me at WrestleMania 28. Our podcast is also on Twitter and Instagram under @Ringside Society, and we're also on Twitch under Ringside Society 2019. We also have a Facebook group. Yes, Facebook groups are cool again. Not that they never were, but if you guess the name is Ringside Society, you guessed it correctly. But we don't have anything to give away yet. Summer giveaway coming soon. And we're also on Teespring. We have a lot of merch there. More merch coming in. definitely cop a shirt, cop a face mask, cop a cup. All proceeds go back into keeping Ringside Society up and running. It doesn't go in our pockets. Trust me, I'm still eating hamburger helper. But follow us on YouTube. We have a lot of great interviews on there as well, like this one with Brittani Nikole, like with Jasmine Allure, Maddie Rankowski, former WWF Women's Tag Team Champion Princess Victoria. Definitely follow us. We have a lot more coming as well. But until then, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight to listen to us live. We really and truly do appreciate it. You don't know how much we actually do appreciate it. To those of you that will listen to us later on via YouTube or Twitch or our Facebook group, thank you in advance. And to those of you that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we go away. Well, it's been 2 years, and like Rob at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we here at Ringside Society are very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. We're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. So Rob Bass, Kathy Knight, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the inspirational, strong Elev8 Pro owner, Brittani Nikole. What type of podcast are we?
All right. 3, 2, 1. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
You guys go in unison. Awesome. That's cool. Yes, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. So with that being said, we'll be back this Monday with another impressive guest. But until then, we're still going through a pandemic. So stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
So y'all, good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Bye.